Code red. Some changes going on. New radiator, new charge cooler. We're still keeping the old charge cooler as a spare because it's going to be like for like, so we can just swap between them if we have any issues. Not that we should, because there's a few changes going on just to make it a little bit stronger. We've got AFCO front struts coming. The rear ones are actually on the way. We should have them this week. Today's Thursday. We should have them tomorrow if everything's going to plan. And on previous videos we did talk about changing all this, so that's happening. Yeah, everything's looking good. Plenty more control with good, properly valved front struts. Nice weight saving with the TBMs on the front, and mega control with the rear shocks for a radial now as well for next season. We might be able to actually hit it a little bit harder off the line. So exciting stuff going on. Another thing we've been talking about as well, or I've mentioned, is taking some weight out of the car. We were going to change the rear gear. We're not now. We're staying with a 325. So I said, ideally we could do with taking some weight out of the car. I think the last time we had it on the scales, we were 49 on the nose and like 51 on the rear. I'd prefer it be around 52, 53 on the nose. Taking some weight off the front with the suspension and the front brake change, that's possibly going to make that a little bit worse for the radial. So we have got, it's got quite a chunky tow bar setup bolted under the rear of the car, which is right at the back, and it's all like box section mild steel. So I have mentioned taking that off, because we'll only use it once a year for street weekend. I can bolt that back on for street weekend, so that's a possibility to get some weight off the very rear of the car, which will help. We don't want to change glass, do we, Trude?
No.
Glass is staying in because it's a street car. Street cars don't have plastic windows. Don't care what anyone says, they don't. It's got windy up and down windows. We like that as well, because when we do street weekend and drive to pod in it in the summer, it's nice to be able to wind the windows down. Again, street car. There is plenty of other places we could possibly take weight out the car, but how far do you go? You just can't really, you know.
No, we want to keep it to street car.
So, yeah. So the only really possible thing to get some weight off the car, where we need it off, is the tow bar setup, which means changing the parachute mount and anchor point as well.
There's plans for that anyway.
There's plans, we need to do that, because the weight we save on the front suspension and brake setup that's going to go on the car is going to make the weight bias front to rear worse. It's already light on the nose for a radial car. It should be a bit heavier on the front. So taking all that box section framework for the tow bar off the back until we actually need it for an event, that would probably help a lot to get, you know, probably 52, 53% on the nose, which is where it wants to be really. But we'll look at that. First of all, we'll take this off weight, get the new stuff, weigh it, see what we saved. Might have to put it back on the scales again and just set it back up, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, plenty of changes going on, nothing too drastic. We haven't got weight for an engine for next season, so hopefully we can get every meeting in next year as well, eh, Trude?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan, to do every meeting and get the points at the end of the year. So we'll try for that. We were going change turbos and move turbos. We were going to put the turbos up here and, you know, bring the pipe works for the headers up here and under and in. And yeah, there was loads of stuff we were going to do, but we don't need to. Like, it's starting to work. It's not fully dialed in yet because it's still really soft on the launch, as you can see on the videos. The boost ramp has still got really tame, so it's not fully dialed in, but it's working. So we'll just keep chipping away at it. But being the guy that reviews the data, I don't think it's going to be difficult to go 7.5 with it. I mean, what are we? We're 3/10 away from a 7.5. We can pick that up just in the short track. If we could just go faster to the 60 foot and keep it hooked, it's there all day long. And looking at how easy it did a 788, again, just the data, it says a lot. So yeah, I'll come back when we have some parts turn up. Chassis tagging. Man, it's been 3 years already, isn't it? So yeah, just getting the chassis re-tagged, and then she's ready for go for 2026. New radiator's finished. Colin's done that. Look at this. It's a lot smaller than the old one, so we're going to have saved weight there as well. We're going to weigh everything that's coming off, weigh everything that goes back on. Even though we are going to scale the car again, we're going to have to, because the front shock setup and brake setup that's on it now, and the wheels, all that's going to be a lot heavier than the stuff that's replacing it. So yeah, all that combined with the smaller radiator, it's going to be a lot heavier on the rear than what it was. So we're going to have to redo the trailer hitch, remove it, which means we've got to redo the chute anchor point, and probably redo chute mounting positions, which are going to go on the boot lid now, I think. Twin chutes. We're going to put twin chutes on it. Probably a titanium frame off the boot lid that stands out a bit further as well. So yeah. So, little experiment I'm wanting to do. You can see all the what's it on the shock. See it? Grease, oil, whatever you want to call it. So this is one of the shocks we've been running for the last 2 seasons. These are the double adjustables that we've been running 7s on. They were second hand when we bought them, and they did us all right, to be fair. But I can literally hang off that, and it doesn't want to go down, and it doesn't want to go up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to full soft, and I'm going to try and push it all the way in, and we'll see if it comes back. That should return. Okay. So that is a good purchase that he's made, because that is doing nothing. And I know the spring helps, but still, that should come up. I can pull it up. But it just won't go anywhere. I'm going to Okay, now that's full loose as well on compression. Fully wound out. And that is so tight to go. But what I'm going to do is tighten it all the way up on the rebound and see what difference there is there. So these are the new ones. These are double adjustable AFCO big gun X's with a radial valving for our horsepower. And they're just such a nice bit of kit. What the best upgrade I think is done. Between like this suspension, I think you can never spend too much on suspension. It's the part of the car that separates the tyre from the chassis. You've got to have good suspension. You can have all the horsepower and electronics in the world. If you've not got decent suspension, you're just going to have a hard time. I'm surprised we've done as well as we have with them. So yeah. But these are just quality. They're going to be, aren't they? They're brand new, but yeah, even the lower spring perch, it's got 2 grooves up the threaded body, yeah? And there's a spring-loaded clip behind this ring, the adjustment collar. And it clicks every half a turn. With just a little thing like that is nice. Because you can just count clicks. Quick release on the top perch, which is nice. And then the rebound adjustment is that one there, which is nice. And then you've got the canisters with compression on. But these, without the springs, they had a zip tie going through the bottom eye to the top eye. And I cut the zip tie and expected them pop out. They didn't. They were still fully compressed, without the spring lag. And as soon as I took some slack off the rebound, they just started moving up on themselves. And I just said straight away, that's suspension that works. Because they don't do that. So, yeah. Night and day difference, I reckon, with them. So what I'm going to do is get these on the back of the car. Not going to make no 4-link changes. I spoke to my mate Kyle in Australia. That has a lot to do with radial cars. And he said leave the 4-link alone for now. He says because the shocks are going to make a big difference. So, yeah. Let's get it. Where are them TBMs actually? Check these out. We're going to save some nice weight off the car with these as well. Some shock travel sensors, so we're having shock data all the way around the car for this season coming for 2026. But yeah, these things are so light compared to what's on it now. We're going to save some decent weight. And obviously, the rotors are there. So yeah, like I say, they're off Joe Baxter's Mustang. But they're going to look pretty rude behind them new wheels. And yeah, changing to AFCOs and getting rid of all these this cast hub and this big vented disc and this big caliper and all this washers spaces, and we're going to save some weight, which is lovely. And then all that box section frame there for the tow bar, we're going to remove that for racing and just literally put it on for drag and drive. So that's something else we want to do. Yeah, we've been speaking about taking weight out of it, but you know, still got glass. And these, you know, you can't get rid of the factory glass, man. If it's there, you've got to keep it, haven't you? It's a nice touch to a street car. Yeah, windy down windows. It's a street car. We want windy down windows. You don't want me melting on drag and drive. You don't want me melting every time it gets driven to your pod. And it's nice to be able to wind your windows down without spending 30 minutes taking God knows how many little screws out of your windows. Forget those. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you don't want to be doing that, but yeah, we're using dual injectors for controlling boost rather than the solenoids. So we're going to use that. That's 2 fuel injectors directing CO2 controlled by the ECU. So that'll be new. Should be pretty straightforward though. Right, these are the street shocks. I'm going to take these off. And we'll see what the other ones are saying. Told him buy a Halfords kit for when we go racing, because we're constantly sifting through a bag full of random spanners and sockets and ratchets, and it was hard work. So we went and bought this. Makes life a bit easier. I don't know what size they are, can't remember. 19, yeah. Might have to move these brackets on the axle as well. I hope we don't, but we might have to. We've got to mount shock sensors as well, yeah, because that data there is going to play a huge part in 60 footing the car. I do believe we can get this go 1.1s. This should be 1.160 in no either if we get it right. Best we've done is a 127. If we can get it 60 foot harder, launch it with more RPM, I think we can turn the boost down out the back, which is what we want to do really. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Not have to run the boost. Spaces are annoying. I hope we don't have to use them anymore. Alright, so I have had to move the axle brackets down 1 hole, which isn't the end of the world. It just means I've got to adjust the street shocks to compensate for that 1 hole lower. So turn them up about 15mm. I've mounted these with the spring just resting. Just when it starts to take the spring, that's where they are. That's at full extension now. That is as far as the 4-link would allow them shocks to extend in its current settings. Well, that's the shock fully extended. That's the 4-link as far as it would be able to go. So yeah, we might end up changing that. I'm not actually sure. We'll see. Got to test it first, haven't we, and get these shocks dialed in. Don't know where that other nut's gone. There's my washer. So yeah, that's them done. So now what I need to do is probably chuck a wheel on. Well, I may as well tighten these, I suppose. I've normally got the battery ratchet to do this. Makes easy work of it. Nice and easy get to. I used to have to slide under the car in the pits, the tiny little hand key, and try to do it blind on the old shocks. Pain in the arse. That's it, they're on. Both mounted. Canister's done. Just going to jack it up now until it starts taking it off the stands so we can see roughly where radiator is and how much travel we've got left on the shock shaft. And then go from there, see where we're at.